I'd have thought it would be a much harder, longer transition with a few teething problems, but it's looking very, very good so far for Rovers.
They've been brilliant, haven't they? They've got a win and a draw on the board. So far, no complaints about John Eustace's start with Blues, Justin.
Jean-Michel Seri's impressed me. Tufan's impressed me as well in midfield. And I think they can only go from strength to strength to strength.
Who do I think will lead the assist charts this season? Jed Wallace.
He's laid up 2 assists against Bristol City, but his chance creation has been off the charts. His ball delivery has been great. And now he's got Ellis Sims.
I remember when he was claiming to be the best striker in the world, and I don't even know what he's doing now.
Left after 5 months, scored an own goal against Derby in the East Midlands Derby. Just really weird. Really, really weird.
World superstar who played for Barcelona, Juve, Milan, Ajax, turning up here for Crystal Palace. Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Stopwatch. It's the topical championship show with a little twist. It's 5 topics, a 2-minute timer, and 2 very, very, very hot hosts. We're Ryan and Justin from the Second Tier Podcast. Let's get right into it. Justin, which club has been the biggest surprise for you from the opening couple of weeks?
The obvious one is Blackburn, isn't it? They've been clinical, they've been resolute defensively, they've coped well with the huge exodus of players that they've had. The spine of the team has obviously been unsettled with the likes of Lenihan leaving, John-Paul Van Heck's obviously gone back to Brighton, no Rita Kadra, Joe Rothwell's gone as well. And they've taken to John Dahl Thompson's style of play very, very easily. So that's something that's really, really surprised me. And as I say, I'd have thought it would be a much harder, longer transition with a few teething problems, but it's looking very, very good so far for Rovers.
Yeah, when you've got a new manager coming in who's never managed in this country before, and you've got essentially a massive turnover in the squad, I don't think many people would have been too surprised to see Blackburn just have a year out. And I think fans would have also let them off if they went the first few weeks where they were struggling to get a win on the board. But here they are, top of the table with 2 wins. It's been a marvellous start, hasn't it? And biggest surprise for me from the opening couple of weeks has been Birmingham City, because many people have them down as relegation candidates for this season. I think that's completely understandable when you consider the turmoil over the summer. They got a new manager in. The squad at the start of the season was looking very, very, very thin. Well, first 2 games, considering they played 2 sides who were in the top 6 last season, they've been brilliant, haven't they? They've got a win and a draw on the board. So far, no complaints about John Eustace's start with Blues, Justin.
Well, the amount of chances they've been creating for the forwards, chance creation has been a massive problem for them previously. So you've got to say, brilliant transition for them under John Eustace. Who do you think will be the signing of the summer so far?
Signing of the summer for me, I think, has been Ian Martson from Burnley. He's coming on loan from Chelsea after he was at Coventry last season. I was a fan of him at the Coventry Building Society Arena last season. Considering he was so young, I was excited to see him step up with a club who is just in terms of the squad, it's better, isn't it? And he has been faultless so far. Of course, got the winning goal on the opening day, which obviously doesn't go amiss, but it's just the defensive ability, his ability to get up and down the flanks as well, and overall, his crossing as well seems to have got a lot better than it was last season too. So I'm a big fan of Ian Martson. I think he's got a big future ahead of him. Won't surprise me to see him playing regularly for Chelsea at some point in the near future. And when he runs, he's also got gigantic strides, Justin. I don't know if this is something you've noticed, but something to keep an eye on in the future. Justin, who's been your signing of the summer so far?
I've gone with another loanee. I've gone with Austin Trusty. I think he's been unreal for Birmingham so far. I know we're only 2 games in, but he's looked like he's taken to the Championship very, very easily. When you consider that he was playing MLS football before. Okay, MLS has got it has improved as a league, but it's definitely not one of the world's best leagues. So for him to come into the Championship and be able to put in the dominant performances he's won 8 headers across his 2 games, which is all you can ask for as a centre half. He looks like an athlete as well, which again, very good trait for a centre back. John Eustace is a big fan of him, and I know you've mentioned before that Arsenal fans are keeping a keen eye on his progress with Birmingham City, and I'm sure they'll be very, very pleased with what he's put in so far.
They certainly are keeping a keen eye on him because Arsenal signed him in January. He's 23 now, I think, off the top of my head. So you'd have thought Arsenal would have seen something in him if they're signing him up. So maybe he'll have a future at Arsenal in the near future. only time will tell. But I think so far, all we can say to Arsenal fans is he's been very, very good. And Justin, who do you think will lead the assist charts come the end of the season?
I'm going a bit left field. Now I've had a couple of games to settle in. I'm going a bit left field with mine. I'm going Alex Pritchard for Sunderland. He's really, really impressed me so far. And he's a player who I think has a point to prove at championship level. He's a player who has got the ability to perform consistently at this level. We saw it with Brentford loan spell a few years ago, well, a long time ago now, that he has got the spark to change teams. But what we've seen of him so far is he's laid up 2 assists against Bristol City, but his chance creation has been off the charts. His ball delivery has been great, and now he's got Ellis Sims, who's a physical forward who makes runs off the defender's shoulder. Yeah, he's going to pick up quite a few assists this season.
Yeah, Alex Pritchard has had quite a strange career, hasn't he? Because he was amazing at Brentford when he was on loan all those years ago. Went to Norwich where he was all right. Then he got the big move to Huddersfield, and that really, really didn't work. But now he's had the chance to kickstart things again, and it's gone really well so far this season, hasn't it? And who do I think will lead the assist charts this season? Jed Wallace, West Brom. Mainly from the game that we saw on Monday night against Watford, where he probably should have got 20 assists in that game alone, Justin, because the crosses he was whipping in were unbelievable. You can't ask for a better delivery than that. And so far, his form from his Millwall days have seamlessly crossed over into him in a West Brom shirt. And that's good, because you could easily expect him not to have the same form, but so far he's been great. He's a marvellous player, isn't he? We all know he's a marvellous player, but he's been a chance-creating machine so far. I think he's got the most chances created so far this season. He was one of the top chance creators last season. It would be no surprise to see him top, would it, Justin?
Well, exactly. He's a clinical player, clinical with his delivery, clinical with his decision-making in the final third. He's just Mr. Clinical. And yeah, as you say, if a number 9 can put chances away, he will get double-figure assists easily, if not more.
Yeah, without a doubt. Justin, what's next topic?
Which game will you have your eye on the most this weekend, and why?
Quite easy for me. It's a big one between two of the relegated sides. It's Watford v Burnley on Friday night. What a thigh rubber this is, Justin Peach. Both have impressed me so far. Watford really impressed me in their opening game against Sheffield United at home. I think being at home is key there, because they didn't impress me as much against West Brom, and they were quite lucky to hold on to a point, really. But Burnley have impressed me because they're just playing this completely different style of play, aren't they? That's would have been completely alien under Sean Dyche over the past few years. But now they're a possession team, which I didn't think we'd ever say about Burnley. But it's gone really well so far. They've got a win and a draw themselves, the same as Watford. So I think this is going to be a real key test, because Burnley, the 2 games they've had so far, very different tests. Huddersfield on the opening day was a bit of a walkover, to be quite frank. Luton was tricky. This is going to be a really, really interesting test, see how they do against a team who also tip for big things this season. Just in which game have you got your eye on?
I've gone with Hull Norwich, and for me, they've both got points to prove for different reasons. Obviously, with Hull, they've had a really big summer of recruitment, and I think this is the game where they can come up against a team who have just come down from the Premier League, got the Premier League money, and they can show what they're about. They've changed, or they transitioned their style of play. They've got really good ball players. Jean-Michel Seri's impressed me. Tufan's impressed me as well in midfield. And I think they can only go from strength to strength to strength from here. Obviously, the Grieve situation isn't ideal, but I think they are in a really good position to surprise quite a few people, even with their recruitment. And then you've got Norwich, who are in a position where they've been very disappointing. They've been very bland. I know they created a fair number of chances against Wigan, but they never really convinced me that they were going to go on to win the game. And they've got to start getting points on the board, otherwise the pressure is going to grow from all sides of the Norwich cohort. There's going to be a lot of pressure on Dean Smith if he doesn't start getting results.
That's doubtless, isn't it? That's definitely going to be the case if he doesn't get a result here. And finally, Justin, it's second tier retro time. What is the weirdest signing in Championship history for you?
There's been quite a few. Nicholas Bentner rocking up at Nottingham Forest in 2016 was a weird one. Very nomadic career, to say the least. He's obviously played for Arsenal, played for Juventus, which passed me by. Obviously at Wolfsburg the season before he went to Nottingham Forest. Key player for Denmark at Euro 2012 as well. Obviously that was the old underwear moment, which he was banned for. And then he, rocked up at a struggling Nottingham Forest, free transfer, left after 5 months, scored an own goal against Derby in the East Midlands derby. Just really weird. Really, really weird.
Yeah, the only thing I can remember from his spell there is that own goal against Derby, because I think he only managed the 2 goals in a Forest shirt. And I remember when he was claiming to be the best striker in the world, and I don't even know what he's doing now. So it was quite a fall from grace. I'm glad to see him have a little stop off in the Championship on the way down. Weirdest signing in Championship history for me, and we've mentioned this before on the Stopwatch, but it's always worth giving another mention. It's Edgar Davids to Crystal Palace, because it's Edgar Davids, world superstar, who played for Barcelona, Juve, Milan, Ajax, turning up here for Crystal Palace after many, many months out of the game. He just rocked up at Selhurst Park, and then he was playing on a pay-as-you-play deal, didn't have much of an impact, left in November after signing in August, and then summed up the whole experience by saying it was the best experience of his life. And what more can you say, really, Justin? That was it. It was a beautiful few months in English football.
Yeah, well, it's always going to be a spell that everybody remembers. Again, a really random, weird one. Didn't get the Edgar Davids that we grew up watching. I say grew up watching even before our time, to be fair. That's how old he was by the time he came to the Championship. But yeah, definitely a memorable spell in the Championship.
He certainly snapped some ankles on the way out, though. And that wraps it up for Season 2, Episode 3 of the Stopwatch. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Drop us a like if you've enjoyed, and please subscribe for more content like this. We've been the Second Tier Podcast. You can find us on Twitter at Second Tier Pod. I'm Ryan Dilks1. That's Justin Peach 27. We are both absolutely roasting right now, and thank you for watching.